Men fall in love too quickly. They are dazzled by beauty, seduced by charm, hypnotized by attention. Yet the danger they overlook is not in her words or actions. It is in her soul. Every woman you meet carries a force, a hidden architecture of intentions, desires, and weaknesses. Most men never see it because they are too busy giving, pleasing, or hoping. Machiavelli, the master of human nature, would say this bluntly: before you surrender your heart, your mind, your very essence, you must test her soul, because once she finds a weakness, she may destroy you, not through malice, but because ignorance allowed it. The question is not, do I love her? The question is, can her soul be trusted with yours? 1. The battlefield is invisible. Most men approach women as if life were a fairy tale, armed with charm, attention, and hollow compliments. They assume that flattery and presence are enough to win her, blind to the fact that the true battlefield is invisible, where power, trust, and character silently clash. In this unseen war, appearances are weapons, and every gesture carries weight. Machiavelli understood this better than most. A smile can conceal a scheme. A compliment can be a calculated trap. And beauty itself is often a mask hiding intent. Every woman you encounter holds a hidden power, the ability to elevate your life or dismantle it piece by piece. Your first responsibility is not seduction, nor is it winning her favor. Your first duty is discernment. Study the subtle currents of her soul. Does she operate from loyalty, empathy, and integrity, or from chaos, manipulation, and relentless self-interest? Notice the tiny inconsistencies in her words, the hidden tension behind laughter, the imperceptible flickers of her eyes when tested. These are the clues to her true character. Why do intelligent, strong men often fall prey to women who ultimately ruin them emotionally, financially, or psychologically? The answer is deceptively simple. They never tested the depths of her soul. They fell for the performance, the carefully curated mask, rather than the essence beneath it. And in life, mistaking appearance for reality can be more devastating than any overt betrayal. Discernment is not suspicion, it is strategy. Like a general surveying the terrain before a battle, you must map the landscape of her values, instincts, and emotional triggers. The moment you step onto this invisible battlefield unprepared, you surrender your power without even realizing it. But when you cultivate the skill to read character, to perceive subtle manipulations, and to anticipate hidden agendas, you transform interactions from potential vulnerabilities into arenas of controlled influence. 2. Observation, the first test of soul. Before you ever speak a word, before you offer charm or attention, the first and most critical step is observation. Watch. Not for the spectacle, not for what she wants you to see, but for the moments that slip by unnoticed. How does she treat those from whom she expects nothing? Waiters, cashiers, strangers, even animals. True character rarely announces itself. It whispers in fleeting gestures, in the way she tilts her head in impatience, or the patience she extends when no eyes are watching. Compassion, patience, and integrity reveal themselves when no reward is expected. Conversely, subtle cruelty, arrogance, or manipulation often appear in these invisible moments, quietly foreshadowing patterns that may later wreak havoc in your life. Machiavelli would call this reconnaissance, a calculated survey of the terrain before engagement. This is not judgment, it is intelligence gathering, the cornerstone of power. To ignore these small signals is to walk blind into a battlefield of emotional and psychological traps. The gestures you dismiss as trivial, the eye roll, the smirk, the impatient sigh, are often the map to her true self. The essence of a woman is not found in the curated Instagram highlights, the rehearsed laughter, or the conversations designed to impress. It is found in the unseen, unscripted moments when her masks slip and her instincts speak freely. Observation is a silent test, one that separates the men who are led by appearances from those who see the invisible. Every action, however small, is a clue. How she reacts to inconvenience, how she responds to humility, how she honors promises made in private. These tiny behaviors compound over time, forming the architecture of her soul. By mastering the art of observation, you arm yourself with the intelligence to navigate interactions with precision, avoiding traps before they manifest and recognizing opportunities for genuine alignment when they arise. 3. Boundaries. The soul-revealing force. A woman's true nature rarely announces itself in easy compliance or flattery. It emerges when confronted with limits, the invisible walls of your mind, your time, and your will. Boundaries are the litmus test of character, a subtle force that separates those who respect power from those who seek to dominate it. To understand her essence, test her carefully, almost imperceptibly. Say no to minor requests, protect your time, and hold fast to your opinions. Observe her response. Does she honor your limits with patience and respect, or does she push, manipulate, and provoke? A woman who reacts with irritation, guilt-tripping, or emotional coercion is not merely testing, you are witnessing her instinct for control. Machiavelli's wisdom reminds us that the first betrayals are often subtle, appearing as playful tests or small transgressions. Recognizing them early prevents deeper incursions into your autonomy. Protecting your independence is not cruelty. It is strategy, a silent declaration of power and self-respect. Why do most men surrender too quickly, mistaking persistence for charm? Because they fail to see boundaries as mirrors. Every attempt to push past your limits reflects not her affection, but her approach to power, control, and respect. Respect is never assumed. It is earned through consistent demonstration. Your limits are the yardstick of her character. The woman who honors them demonstrates patience, self-control, and empathy. The one who ignores them signals a predisposition to manipulate, dominate, or destabilize. Boundaries are not walls. They are instruments of psychological reconnaissance, revealing the contours of her soul without confrontation. Boundaries also serve another critical function. They create scarcity. Invisibility in availability, firmness in values, and clarity in time management transform ordinary interactions into arenas of tension and intrigue. The woman who values you is drawn not merely to what you offer, but to the invisible line you refuse to cross. By mastering the art of subtle boundary enforcement, you wield influence without aggression and discern character without confrontation, a silent, unassailable form of power. 4. Stress reveals the soul. Every soul cracks under pressure. It is not in moments of ease that true character is displayed, but in the friction, the tension, the unforeseen disruption. A woman who remains composed under mild stress demonstrates resilience, emotional intelligence, and the ability to navigate life's turbulence without collateral damage. Conversely, a woman who collapses into deceit, blame-shifting, or manipulation exposes a core of chaos, immaturity, and instability. Do not limit your observation to the grand crises of life. Observe her responses to the subtle, everyday inconveniences: a delayed appointment, a canceled plan, a lost item, or a minor social embarrassment. These harmless stresses are the true stress tests of character, predictive of how she will respond when real storms arrive. Machiavelli's wisdom is precise. Crises do not create character, they expose it. The fire does not forge virtue, it illuminates weakness. The very traits that initially attract you, passion, intensity, unpredictability, or unrestrained ambition, can become harbingers of destruction if they are untempered. The woman who dazzles you with fire under calm skies may also burn everything around her when the winds shift. Recognizing this early allows you to make strategic decisions before the sparks become flames. Stress is the ultimate psychological mirror. It amplifies hidden traits, forces authenticity, and removes the masks people wear in ordinary moments. Observe closely, and you will see whether she is capable of partnership or whether she is prone to sabotage. The woman who maintains composure, accountability, and integrity in discomfort is signaling a foundation of stability and loyalty. The one who fractures, blames, or manipulates is signaling a storm that will eventually touch your life, and not gently. Mastery of this insight requires subtlety. Do not engineer crises. Simply allow minor stresses to reveal their natural reactions. The art lies in observing without intervention, letting her behavior paint the full portrait of her soul. This is reconnaissance at its highest form, silent, precise, and unassailable. By attuning yourself to these stress responses, you are not merely protecting your life and resources. You are gaining a tactical map of human character, the knowledge that separates men who are led by appearances from those who command outcomes with foresight and control. 5. Words are cheap. Actions are costly. Men are easily hypnotized by eloquence. Flattery, sweet talk, and poetic promises lure the inexperienced into surrender, masking intentions with a veneer of charm. Machiavelli's timeless insight cuts through this illusion. Truth rarely resides in words. It hides between them. Words are free, actions are costly. While speech can be rehearsed, choreographed, and polished for effect, actions carry consequences that reveal priorities, intentions, and the architecture of the soul. Observe alignment carefully. Do her actions match her declarations? Does she follow through on promises, or do excuses, delays, and subtle blame shifting emerge when fulfillment becomes inconvenient? Minor discrepancies. Arriving late repeatedly, breaking commitments without acknowledgement, or forgetting responsibilities are often early indicators of a broader pattern of selfishness, manipulation, or unreliability. What appears as charm may in fact be a rehearsal for deceit. Why do so many men overlook small misalignments between words and actions? Because they are seduced by performance, mistaking eloquence for essence. The very traits that attract confidence, humor, passion can be masks for inconsistency if left unchecked. Her soul is revealed in behavior, not speech. Learn to read between the lines. In pauses, omissions, and even the moments of forgetfulness she cannot polish, pay attention to the costs she is willing or unwilling to bear. Every action she takes or avoids sends a signal. Actions are the currency of integrity. Words are the currency of persuasion. A woman who consistently invests her actions in alignment with her words demonstrates reliability, accountability, and respect. One who avoids cost, shifts blame, or invents excuses signals a character that prioritizes self-interest above loyalty or partnership. The mastery of this principle requires discipline and detachment. Observe without immediately reacting. Let the natural patterns emerge over time. Consistency, or the lack of it, cannot be fabricated indefinitely. By focusing on actions rather than rhetoric, you gain a tactical advantage. You see the invisible ledger of her character, revealing her true nature, long before overt crises demand it. This is the psychological equivalent of reconnaissance in warfare: silent, patient, and unforgivingly accurate. 6. Small tests, big revelations. You do not need cruelty, manipulation, or elaborate schemes to understand a woman's true nature. The art lies in subtlety. Controlled, small challenges, quiet, almost imperceptible, can reveal more about her soul than months of casual interaction or romantic indulgence. Ask for honesty in minor matters. Observe her reaction to your independence and personal priorities. Note how she treats your friends, family, or colleagues. Even trivial gestures, a refusal to accommodate a small inconvenience, a thoughtful acknowledgement, or a moment of silent empathy, can uncover profound truths about her character. Each small test is a lens through which fragments of her essence are revealed, like pieces of a larger puzzle slowly coming into focus. Machiavelli's brilliance lay in understanding that clarity precedes surrender, knowledge is protection, and awareness is a shield. By seeing the subtle contours of her character early, you protect your resources, your emotions, and your power. Testing in microcosm exposes patterns that would otherwise remain hidden until they become costly, unavoidable crises. Why do most men fail in relationships, even with women who seem perfect at first glance? Because they never test, never probe, never observe the delicate balance between independence and influence. The truth does not reside in grand gestures, dramatic confrontations, or staged declarations of love. It resides in the subtle provocations, the small decisions, the micro moments where true priorities are revealed. Small tests are not traps. They are reconnaissance. Each interaction provides data. Does she respect boundaries? Does she show patience when challenged? Does she demonstrate integrity when no one is watching? Every yes and every no, every delay and every immediate compliance tells you more than any conversation could. Over time, these tiny observations compound into a detailed map of her soul. The mastery of this strategy is restraint. Do not overtest. Do not make every interaction a gauntlet. The subtle art lies in designing situations where her reactions are natural, unfiltered, and revealing. The stronger her character, the more she passes these tests gracefully. The weaker, the more cracks appear. By understanding the power of small tests, you transform ordinary interactions into a strategic reconnaissance mission. Silent, patient, and utterly precise. In this invisible battlefield, knowledge is the ultimate currency, and awareness is the only armor that cannot be taken. 7. Spot the red flags before it's too late. Some traits, once revealed, cannot be hidden or reformed. Manipulation, lack of empathy, self-centeredness, emotional volatility, or a compulsive need for control. The human psyche is often more predictable than we like to believe, and Machiavelli's insight is unflinching. Human nature is largely immutable. Recognize these traits early, in subtle behaviors, fleeting reactions, or inconsistencies between words and actions. Waiting for change is not patience, it is vulnerability. Rationalizing, excusing, or hoping she will transform over time is a luxury men cannot afford in the realm of strategic relationships. Your foresight is your armor. The moment you identify a red flag, you are granted a choice: disengage, adjust your involvement, or protect your resources and autonomy before damage occurs. Failing to act early is not kindness. It is weakness, a surrender of power masked as tolerance. Machiavelli would remind you, the first misstep in judgment is often irreversible. Every interaction carries weight, and small oversights compound into major vulnerabilities if left unchecked. Why do intelligent, cautious men still fall for toxic patterns? Because the warning signs are subtle, disguised as charm, intensity, or passion. The very traits that captivate can also foretell destruction, if not interpreted correctly. Those who ignore them mistake excitement for compatibility, volatility for passion, and flattery for loyalty, misreadings that come at a steep cost. Ignorance of character is far more dangerous than confrontation. Testing, observation, and subtle challenges are not games. They are tools of survival. Every behavior, every minor reaction, and every inconsistency is a signal. The moment you see a pattern emerge, act decisively. Protecting yourself does not require cruelty. It requires awareness, strategic judgment, and the discipline to respect your own boundaries above all else. The mastery of spotting red flags lies in synthesis, integrating observations from behavior, stress reactions, respect for boundaries, small tests, and consistency. Each detail forms a mosaic of her character. Like a general surveying the battlefield, you do not wait for the storm to arrive. You recognize its formation, anticipate its trajectory, and take steps to ensure your position remains unassailable. Knowledge becomes power, foresight becomes protection, and strategic disengagement becomes a weapon that preserves your life, your peace, and your freedom. In the invisible war of human relationships, the ability to see what others overlook is the ultimate advantage. 8. Protecting your soul is the ultimate power. Above all else, your independence, mind, and soul are priceless. No charm, fleeting passion, or external beauty is worth sacrificing the core of who you are. Machiavelli's unyielding wisdom reminds us, men who survive, dominate, and thrive do not give blindly. They measure, discern, and protect. Testing her soul is not a sign of mistrust. It is a demonstration of strategy, foresight, and respect for your own boundaries. To surrender your mind or your essence in exchange for temporary approval or affection is the ultimate defeat, and the most common one. True power lies not in conquest, but in preservation. It is the ability to engage with the world, with women, and with life itself, without ever losing control of your center. Guard your time, your emotions, and your values with the precision of a strategist. Every interaction, every subtle test, every observation contributes to a map of understanding that shields you from deception, betrayal, and loss. Independence is not arrogance, it is armor. Autonomy is not isolation, it is mastery. Why do so many men mistake surrender for love, compromise for connection, or indulgence for intimacy? Because they fail to recognize that true power is not measured by how many hearts you win, but by how firmly you keep your own intact, while others attempt to influence, control, or exploit it. Protecting your soul is the ultimate form of self-respect. It transforms desire into discernment, attraction into intelligence, and relationships into arenas where your autonomy remains unshakable. When you operate from this perspective, you are no longer at the mercy of someone else's whims. You are the master of the invisible battlefield, capable of engaging with grace, power, and unassailable clarity. Every man is tested in life, often by forces unseen. But few recognize that the first, most critical battlefield is internal, the preservation of mind, values, and soul. By cultivating this vigilance, you become impervious to manipulation, immune to seduction that costs too much, and capable of discerning genuine alignment from performance. This is the apex of Machiavellian mastery, the ability to navigate desire, attraction, and human connection without ever surrendering what makes you truly unbreakable. In this pursuit, protecting your soul is not just strategy, it is the ultimate victory. Every woman you meet carries the potential to elevate your life, or dismantle it. The difference between devastation and empowerment is foresight, observation, and disciplined strategy. Men who rush, seduced by charm or appearances, surrender before they understand the terrain, leaving themselves vulnerable to subtle manipulation, emotional chaos, and betrayal. The truly powerful man does not act blindly. He tests, observes, and measures. Test her soul before surrendering yours. Observe how she treats others when no reward is expected. Protect your boundaries, notice her reactions under stress, and introduce small, controlled challenges to reveal character. Watch closely. Actions, not words, are the currency of integrity. Each subtle behavior, every minor inconsistency, and every small red flag is a signal, a piece of the map that allows you to navigate safely. Protect your independence, your mind, and your values above all else. Only when she demonstrates reliability, respect, and alignment with your principles should you allow yourself to engage fully. In this practice, you are not controlling her. You are controlling the fate of your own soul. Few men possess the patience, courage, or strategic discipline to truly test before surrendering. Those who do gain an unshakable advantage. They enter relationships fully aware, never blind, never broken, and always sovereign. Machiavelli's warning is brutal. but liberating, know her soul, or risk losing your own. True mastery lies not in conquest, charm, or desire. It lies in foresight, restraint, and the unwavering protection of your independence. The invisible battlefield is unforgiving, and the stakes are nothing less than the preservation of your life, your mind, and your soul.